what I'm doing is going to go through a presentation that Steve Duncan, who's looked after adventure tourism in Scotland for Visit Scotland, a presentation that he did, and then I'll add a couple of bits onto it and go through there. Some of this will be my views, but most of it will be just about what Visit Scotland are doing, so you can see how you can piggyback onto that and touch base with it. So it's all about, I'm sure you've come across, the Scotland is Calling is the digital campaigns and various things that they've had going out there. They're talking about being bold, building demand, and being responsible is the activity that Visit Scotland are undertaking. Insights and their perception of what the marketplace is doing and out there, and this is their research team pull this together, is that 2022 tourism is going to be highly competitive globally, and Scotland's got a good chance to catalyse that and grab a lion's share. It's been continually growing. Obviously, the pandemic had an impact, and that has slowed things down. But visits.
Oh, there's Fergus.
Oh, here he goes.
Sorry, I just had to. Apologies. So where have I got Jason? I don't know how to make you a co-host when you've been assigned into a breakout room. Can you come out of the?
2020 or travelled a bit in 2021. Consumers are out there looking to spend, but they've got an awareness of the impact that they have on the environment. So therefore, they're looking for some more responsible travelling and tourism that's out there, and they want to focus on what matters in life to them. And the interesting thing is how the media has changed, and the media has changed in a way that what it was like before the pandemic to what's happening now in the pandemic. And that's where social media has become much, much more prevalent, especially channels like TikTok. And those are really getting quite a high level of traction. Some trends to look for. And again, this has come through Visit Scotland Insights Department. 55% of the UK public intend to take a domestic break in 2022. So the staycation market is still out there. International market is coming back. It's a bit slower, but it won't be really until 2024 that the market really grows and gets back to what it was level. But what they're talking about is domestic spend is going to be up to almost 75% of in spend and demand of 2019. So still a bit of work to go until we get back to the high levels that tourism had in 2019. I'm not going to go through these line by line. You'll be able to pick those up, but they're looking for different things. Adaptable adventures. It's all about being physically active, and mental health and well-being is really becoming important. Authenticity is really a key thing that's coming out there. They're looking for those some authentic experiences that are there, and family trips and family reunions are happening a lot more because people haven't been able to see one another for quite a spell, so they're getting back together again. Visit Scotland's activity in the marketplace is key areas are North America, UK, Europe, China, and Australia. I think from Dumfries and Galloway's perspective, UK and Europe are the key ones to be focusing in on, and it's there. The North American market will be coming, and certain of you will be picking up some of that business, but I think water wellness, evergreen content, you see on the right-hand side some of the images of the social media activity that's out there. So they've done, they've undertaken quite a bit of activity in developing outdoor well-being, interest in paddleboarding, wild swimming, all of the buzz things and the buzz activities that have been out there. Something that Visit Scotland haven't done a lot of before, and really in 21 and 22 they've picked up and realised that the outdoors and adventure travel and adventure tourism is really important for them. So they've got paddleboarding and water wellness web pages, got wild swimming and waterfall walks blog posted. So if you've got content, they're always looking for rich content, so make sure you push that out to them. Responsible tourism is a key thing that they've come up with. And again, they're using humour to reach the younger audience. On the right-hand side of the screen there, you'll see, about wet swimming or spoiler alerts, where they're trying to get the consumer to be responsible and think about the outdoors and what they're doing. And they're doing that through radio, large-scale digital billboards, influencers, a lot of stuff in YouTube is still one of the most effective social channels. And then social, they're going through that and tailoring Facebook and the different pages to deliver that. So again, think about how your business can tap into that and piggyback onto what they are doing, depending on what the audience that you're targeting, whether it's the younger, harder to reach, or it's the older or international visitors that are out there. A couple of things to be aware of that are coming up in 2022 and 2023. I'm sure you're aware of the UCI Cycling World Championships taking place in Glasgow in 2023. That is going to be huge. That is going to be literally thousands upon thousands of people coming towards that. And you've got a lot of activity taking place down in Dumfries and Galloway. So gear yourself up to that and make sure that you've got your marketing activity out there and targeting those. The outdoor tourism strategies that we were working on, the evidence-based gathering from that should be getting launched in the next few months. And then they're working in partnership with Finisterre on clothing. So they're using that to target a specific demographics and audience that's out there. The other thing to think about is if you've got a new product or new things that are coming out, let them know, tell them, because they've always got a need for rich content. They want to keep that aware. Sorry, I just skipped one screen there, which is this is the Visit Scotland marketing calendar. That's for the 6 months from February through to September. So that gives you the type of activity they're undertaking in their various social channels and the strategic themes. So May 2022 was Off the Beaten Track, June it's City Breaks, July it's History and Culture, August is Wellness, and September is Autumn Escapes. So look at those, look at this screen and think, what can I do in my marketing activity to tie in with that? And also get in touch with Visit Scotland, say, what's your plan for October onwards? What's the next 6 months? What's the next 12 months? So again, you can plan your marketing activity around all of that. Key thing for you, I can't emphasize it enough because not enough businesses do that. Get involved with Visit Scotland. And how can you do that? You can support the Scotland is Calling campaigns. You can download their images and use them in your channels and tag them so you can get free access to a lot of the images that are around there from their digital media library. You can cross-post their campaign videos on your Facebook pages, which gives good reference and will draw people onto your campaign pages. Tie in with their marketing calendar and let them know where they can support you and get in touch with you and work with them. Or if you have got some resource and available there, then you can join in with them in some funded and paid campaigns. So that's the higher level Visit Scotland activity that they're doing. But what does that mean to you as businesses in Dumfries and Galloway, and where can you get that? There's someone maybe mute their sound because we're going to cross a bit of feedback there. So how do you unlock that potential? We worked with 56 Degree Insights last year, and they did some consumer research to over 5,000 UK consumers to try and identify what their interests were in taking an adventure tourism break within Scotland. And they targeted it, and they found that 43% of them had never previously taken a holiday before. That equates to something like a market size of 31 million people that are out there in a potential audience. The map on the right-hand side shows the percentage of the potential markets on the opportunities for adventure tourism. So if you take Dumfries and Galloway, north of England, northeast and northwest of England, we've got almost 26% of an audience there that's well worth targeting. Or if you take the home counties, then we're up to over 30%, 34, 35%. So there's a really strong market opportunity for you. And the outdoors tourism strategy that comes out will give you access to much more detailed information, the likes of each of the varying segments. The range of activities that people are looking for and want to come and do is everything from health and well-being, which is the number one, that was the top one, to nature and wildlife walking, hill walking, rambling, day boat trips, cycling, other activities, water sports, mountain biking, all of which fit into the product that you've got on offer in Dumfries and Galloway. So some really important messaging that you can put out there to target the audiences that you want to go for. and what their motivations to visit. How does Scotland stand out? The 3 standout things that came were Scotland's affordable, it's got the natural beauty that they're looking for, and it's got good lodging, whether that's hotels, self-catering, hostels, or whatever. And in terms of barriers to visiting, there weren't many. It was actually the bad weather, too expensive, and not accessible. So we don't have many barriers that are there, in a small percentage we're saying that. So great opportunities. Question of how you're able to make that work and maximise that opportunity. So that's a quick sort of overview of Visit Scotland's activity.
I just had a very quick question, and it was, you probably said, Stuart, but whereabouts is all that information? Is that all available on Visit Scotland?
It's not out on the marketplace yet, Pete, but because we commissioned it, we'll get it to you. But don't tell everyone you've got it yet. We're not recording this, are we, Fergus? I'll edit that wee bit out, but we'll make that available, Pete, because it's quite powerful information, because it gives you the buying patterns, how they book, the size of the parties and the things that they're interested in, and it covers all of the little infographic that we showed there of about 10 activities. It covers 24 activities, so everything from stand-up paddleboarding to health and well-being, etc., etc. So we'll get that to you. We'll probably put it onto Dropbox and give you a link to it so you can actually look at it. And there's a one-pager infographic, so we'll send on to you or put up onto the website, which just gives you an explanation of the information and how it all works.
I've got a question, if nobody else has at the moment. So, and that's about the money. What was actually interesting is that we're perceived as not expensive, which is great. Just out of, if I do want to compare where I am standing with my prices versus places that are perceived as expensive, do we know which areas that are perceived as expensive?
How do you mean which areas, Esther?
Well, because I'm thinking that, very often, certainly for the international market, I'm thinking, we're actually quite expensive, but this is my perception. And so I would like to see what the comparison, where does the comparison lie, to draw the conclusion that we are, a reasonable in price.
That research was UK research, and it was a sample size of 5,000, which is a pretty robust number. And that's where, when they were asked about any barriers to visiting Scotland, that's where they said it was, that was a small percentage were saying price, but it wasn't 50 or 60% of them, so the margin, I think it's all relative, what people think. And actually, the pound's been going bananas against the dollar. So the North American market, all of a sudden, it's going to be cheaper for North Americans to come here, whereas we've stayed on a par for the past few weeks. The euro, that hasn't shifted. So in an international context, to be honest, I'm not Scooby what's happening in the markets out there and foreign currency, but it just means that at this point in time, it's good for Americans to actually, if they're coming, they're getting better value,
right,
compared to maybe what they were getting 4 weeks ago when they were booking. But who knows what that's going to be like in 2023? Don't have a crystal ball yet.
Good. Okay, thanks.
Has anybody got any other questions?